Hey everyone, have I here been a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be going over the details for the EZA STR Dokkan Festival exclusive Jiren. But stay calm everyone, because I know some of you guys are disappointed, but I want you to think about this. This isn't a group of EZAs that's going to help out like Universal 11 or even Universal Survival Saga. It's actually helping out this team right here and this unit in the AGL Berserk Kale. And I'll go ahead and discuss that with you all here. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So shout outs to Proton for the stats of the groupings of these units. And as you can see, nothing too huge for the EZAs of all these units here, right? Fairly standard, nothing that really jumps out. Yeah, Jiren's 18-7 in attack. HP is fairly good for EZA, like non-Dokkan Festival exclusive, more just an unfeatured unit in Bodemageddon 19,000. But all in all, again, not too crazy. But like I mentioned at the top of the video, a lot of people have been disappointed, to say the least, about the EZA details here, and let's go ahead and look at it and kind of judge for ourselves. Let's go ahead and check this out here. So make this a little bit bigger, and shout outs to the Dokkan Battle wiki. So of course we knew that Universal Survival Saga, the leader skill here, it was going to go from 150 to 170 across the board. That's standard here. A nice little benefit is for you Battlefield individuals out there that's missing 120% leader, which it's at this point in time very difficult to do for a mono type leader skill of 120%, but this is STR, key plus 3, 120% across the board. Now the super attack here, the overheat magnetron, greatly raises attack and defense. This is the add on here, and causes immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. So this add on here, nice little boost of 50%. Here's the pressure of key. So how they built this is kind of how this unit was, pretty, you know, unimpressive, I would say, and stunning for the majority of the game for endgame, when SBR and EXBR was the major endgame. This unit was, in a sense, valuable at times. And that's kind of what this unit stays, right? So they increased, they have key plus 2, attack defense 200%, which is very strong. And then medium chance to stun all enemies at the start of the turn. I would have loved to see a high chance here versus staying at that medium chance, but you do have the opportunity to stun a particular enemy, but that's how it works there. Attacks effectiveness all types facing against one enemy. And here's where a lot of people are just like, oh man, why did they do this? Well, again, this is more designed for SBR than anything else. Reduces damage received by 30% when facing 2 or more enemies. So right there is, I think a lot of people said, hey, okay, this isn't a good unit, but again, what is it designed for, right? Plus an additional attack and defense 50% with a high chance of stunning the enemy when performing a super attack. So there's that high chance there versus a high chance of stunning all enemies, which would be very OP if it was a little bit higher, but still 30% is fairly low, I would say. And then performs a critical hit on stun enemies, so that's an additional add-on there, plus an additional attack defense 111%, and performs a critical hit. But the biggest issue is when there's a Universal Survival Saga and tournament participants. So when you look at this overall unit here, besides having the reduced damage by 30%, if this was like standalone, this would be a very, very good EZA. Would be one of the best EZAs having that. But not having that, your defense isn't going to be strong enough for the particular end game with red zone, things of that such. So, and then we don't have a Universal Survivor Saga or tournament participants red zone. I don't think so, right? So in this case, it's going to be tough to play in that kind of end game. However, if you're going to run this on Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road, you are going to wreck shop. And again, that's what this unit is designed for. One of the biggest issues, though, is not necessarily the passive skill or all this buff here. The biggest issue for this Jiren, and then the future Jiren, the full power Jiren as well, is that it's not on many categories. It's on Realm of Gods, Universal Survival Saga, Universal 11, Space Traveling Warriors, Defender of Justice, and Tournament Participants. And actually, when you look at the categories, you might realize, well, there's actually no 200% category for this Jiren. So you can't run STR EZA Dokkan Festival exclusive Jiren on a 200% meta team at this point in time. And it's very rare you're seeing this now, right? There's a lot of 200% teams out there. But the other one, of course, comes to mind is the LR Yellow Coin Super Boo that you can't run a 200% on. But this unit you can't either. And the thing is, it's not like his passive skill is OP and you're like, oh, you're not able to run this on 200%, but when you run it on 2%, it's going to be absolutely busted. It's not going to be busted either way unless you're fighting against two enemies, right? So interesting, the design of this unit here. Interesting that they EZA this unit now, because actually when you look at this, you know, you're probably going to run this maybe as a floater or a second, at least a second or third position unit on tournament participants. And tournament participants, you are going to get a little bit of boost when it comes to the 17 and 18. But overall, it's just not a, I don't know, kind of not a relevant unit on here. So I can see why people are disappointed, but I think we have more hope for the LR full power Jiren. We'll kind of see how that operates there. But I mentioned at the top of the video that this isn't really designed, seemingly, to help out tournament participants as much as you think, but really help out this Berserk Kale team that was absolutely limited on units that you're able to run, especially Universe 6 units. That really helps with her buff, right? And if we were able to get a amazing Caulifla as well to go along with this, you know, this team then turns into like one of the best teams in the game. However, they do create some opportunities here of useful units that can benefit this whole team, starting with Boda Magetta. And Boda Magetta was always a defensive unit, and they continue to have this as a defensive unit. It's actually very, very strong. So so they didn't, again, the Dokkan Wiki, Dokkan Battle Wiki here, they didn't add like the leader skill and stuff like that because that's irrelevant. But anyway, the super attack is greatly raised attack for 1 turn, so don't worry about that portion there. But you can see here it does have a semi-stack defensive ability here. So if you can get like 2 SAs off, you can increase your defense by 30%, then again another 30%, and then you have it for 6 turns, so you can start to mini stack this unit here when it comes to defense. On top of that, it actually has a pretty decent passive skill where it's Ki plus 3 attack and defense 160%, and then an additional 10% per Universe 6 category ally on the team. So if you're going to run this on the Kale team, this is going to be absolutely fine, right? And probably additional 60% if you're going to run all Universe 6 on there. And then on top of that, we already knew that this was going to be available. Guard all attacks when there's another Universe 6 category ally, which on that team you will, attacking in the same turn or when HP is 80% or less. So I actually like at least they added this on here, even though it is a HP restriction. You can run this on another team that can still guard against all attacks. So at least they kind of give it an out if you're not running it on a Universe 6 team. Plus an additional attack and defense 60% for 3 turns and a medium chance of performing a additional super attack within the same turn after receiving an attack. So this is huge here because now you can get 3 SAs off and you have a medium chance of actually doing that. And that's huge, man. That's huge that you can just stack. So this is going to be a great unit that is necessary for that Universe 6 team with the Berserk Kale. And now you have your first position unit that you can run that guards, that mini defensive stacks, that's primarily a defensive unit on here, and having that guard ability. So huge benefit and huge upgrade for that first position there. Now they did add a few other Universe 6 units, and again participant units as well, but these are all Universe 6 characters here. And you have the Frost, and they could have done better, but this unit wasn't very good in the first place. So you have greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, and then causes supreme damage enemy and lowers attack. So this lowers attack is beneficial. This can be helpful if you're going to be running this and maybe in third position. Key +3 launches additional attack, has a high chance of becoming a super attack. So you can get a double 50% boost on attack and defense there, and a high chance of performing a critical hit for 6 turns from the start of a turn. Okay, and then attack and defense 160%, plus an additional attack 180% and 120 with a high chance of stunning the enemy and performing a super attack. So again, this is going to be like one of those slot in floater position type units on here. Would have liked to see some additional buff if you're running like Universe 6 characters, just like Botamagetta, or even though it didn't have support, maybe have some sort of support for Universe 6, but it's a pretty bland unit. It should fare well, I guess, in certain situations, but isn't going to like tank a lot of stuff. It would definitely be a weak point on your team on endgame. But if you're running like Super Battle Road or that type of end game there, this should be effective fairly well. And then finally, you have the support unit for Universe 6, and that is Champa, right? So raises defense for 1 turn. I would have actually liked to see this as a stacking ability. That would have been nice to see that if it would have stacked, raises this defense on here. I think it wouldn't have been too busted. Would have been made this unit fairly nice. Causes supreme damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. I would have liked to see attack and defense as well. Defense 160%. So you're like, wait, no attack, don't worry. We're going to see it down here. 160% plus an additional defense 120% when attacking. So I wish... So I'm not sure... Well, I am sure. So... this right here doesn't start until, so if you run this in the first position, it's not going to calculate, as far as I know, right? So this is when attacking. So second position is really where this is going to be fun. In a sense, since this is a support unit, you'll be running in third position. So this should be fine. You're going to get 160 plus the 120 in the third position, in the floater position. So Universe 6 category allies, key +2, 40%, and then attack and defense additional 20% when HP is 60%, and an additional. So is this when 60% is or 60% or less? Is that buffing all the allies as well? So that turns into 60% boost at HP 60% or less. Again, the wording's kind of off there. So I don't know if they gain additional for itself or for the allies. It says and. Right, Universe 6 category allies, key +2, and then an additional 20% when HP. Okay, so it could be a 60% boost. High chance of attack 400%. Okay, and then medium chance of 600% to attack, and then a rare chance of performing a critical hit. So a little fun little thing right here at the end. Again, you're using this as a support unit, not necessarily for the chance of doing a 400 or 600% attack here, which isn't going to do like that crazy amount of damage. But I think this is a viable support unit for Universe 6. This is a situation when you're having a support unit. The truth loves to say, full dodge. This is in a sense a full dodge opportunity here, because you're not really going to tank with 160, 120. And then raises defense 50. You're not going to tank, And then let me look at the stats again. Oops, right here, it's at 11,000, right? So yeah, you're not going to tank. So you need this to dodge. So this can be a viable unit here. Again, this is going to be beneficial for this team right here. So again, this is a very interesting thing. I think a lot of people were like, okay, hey, you know what, we're going to get an EZA to Jiren, but in reality, we got a buff for the Berserk Kale team, having a couple more options that you can actually run. I think primarily Botamagetta here is the best option. So, interesting, interesting decisions. These also are all on tournament participants, but not necessarily all of them are representative of Universe 7. You do have one join forces, which would be Botamagetta here, so this would have a 200% boost on the tournament on the 17-18 team, if you want to run this with Jiren, right? Or run this with Kale, right? Kale's on tournament participants, right? Is she on? But she's not on Representative Universe 7, and she's not on Joint Forces either, right? So, yeah, so she's on tournament participants, so she'll run at 170 if you want to run this as a rotation. But again, fairly interestingly enough, let me know what you guys think about this Jiren. Let me know what you guys think about the Universe 6 boost. And yeah, let me know in the comment section below. So if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning and stay calm. We'll catch you next time. Later.